Hi readers, Lee here. Welcome back to my channel, Lila Wanders and Reads. Now, normally on Mondays I do my weekend books, which is a recap of the books I bought each week. But this Monday I'm doing my May reading recap, so I've saved this for Tuesday. Only, bit of a difference here. Normally, in the week, as the books come in, I unpackage them, log them into my app that keeps track of all the books that I own, and then I put them in a pile to do for my weekend books. However, the last 2 weeks have been kind of chaotic, sometimes in a good way, sometimes in a we're living in unprecedented times way. So I have a stack of books that I didn't even unpackage because there was so much shiz going on. So I thought today we would do like a mystery book haul. Now, I do know some of these books, what they are, but I don't think I remember all of them. I have taken the liberty of cutting these open, but I have not looked inside, so it'll be as much, not quite as much of a surprise for me as it is for you, but this is, I do know that some of these books I bought thinking I was going to do a Memorial Day post about them, but then I realized they weren't really appropriate for Memorial Day. Maybe later in Veterans Day. We'll see. It's a minute away. So here we go. I'm not sure what order these are in. I ordered them from biggest package to smallest. I'm going to have to pick that up later. First one is actually one of the last ones that I ordered, and this is The Guncle by Stephen Rowley. I ordered this. I have had this on and off my radar, but I recently watched a post by one of my favorite booktubers, Greg, over at Supposedly Fun, and he was just buying the sequel to this. He said he thought, based on the cover, that The Guncle looked a little bit maybe silly, and so did I. But when he read it and gave it a great review, so this is one of the ones I'm thinking about reading for Pride Month. Here's what it's about. Patrick O'Hara is a bit out of his league. Patrick, or Gay Uncle Patrick, Gup for short, has always loved his niece Maisie and nephew Grant. That is, he loves spending time with them when they come out to Palm Springs for week-long visits or when he heads home to Connecticut for the holidays. So when tragedy strikes and Patrick finds himself suddenly taking on the role of primary guardian, he is honestly overwhelmed. Patrick has no idea what to expect, having spent years barely holding on after the loss of his great love, a somewhat stalled acting career, and a lifestyle not so suited to a 6- and 9-year-old. But when his waggish set of Guncle rules no longer appease Maisie and Grant's parental void, Patrick's eyes are open to a new sense of responsibility and the realization that, sometimes, even being larger than life means you're unfailingly human. This weekend, I was out picking up yet another book haul that will be done later, and I saw the sequel to this, and I almost bought it. But I was like, wait, let me see how I feel about The Guncle, because I've bought series before where it's like, why did I buy all of those and without having read at least one? I do trust Greg's opinion, though, so I'm sure that I will pick up the second in the Guncle series soon. I know what this one is. It's not at all going. I was trying to throw over there. It ends up behind my head. This is why I was never really good at sports. I bought this one because Stephen King posted on Twitter that it was mostly right. And if you've watched any of my other videos, you know I'm obsessed with Maine, or the idea, not the reality, of living in Maine. So I got Stephen King's Maine, A History and Guide by Sharon Kitchens. I'm not sure if that's the same one who did the cookbook. Anywho, I really look forward to this. Hopefully, I haven't written fiction in decades. Maybe this will spark something in me so I can get back to maybe doing something in my spare time. That will be a reference, not a read-through. Oh, this one's packaged It is soon to become a major motion picture. This is one of the ones that I thought about doing for Memorial Day, but because she's still alive, I thought it was not appropriate. But it is appropriate for my interest in women in war. This is Shoot Like a Girl, One Woman's Dramatic Fight in Afghanistan and on the Home Front by Mary Jennings Hagar. This says on the back, soon to be a major motion picture. On July 29, 2009, Major Mary Jennings Hagar was shot down while on a medevac mission in Afghanistan. Despite being wounded, she fought the enemy and saved the lives of her crew and their patients. But soon, she would face a new battle to give women who serve on the front lines the credit they deserve. I'm going to skip through to the very end. It was on American soil that Hagar, apologies if I butchered the last name, would embark on her greatest challenge, to eliminate the ground combat exclusion policy which kept women from officially serving in combat roles despite their long-standing record of doing so with honor. This is going to be a read this year book. Maybe I'll try to either do some... I'd originally this year started out with a Women in War series, intending to focus on World War II. This may change that. Maybe I'll reevaluate my thoughts on that, or use it in a Veterans Day post. Alright. This may be another one about women in war. Oh no, well, no. This is about men in war. Rock Eater by Mason Rodriguez. And this is like, it's unconventional. It was words played on a PBS documentary about the Marine Corps while Mason sat on a couch wondering what to do after college. So this is poetry. And it really is. It's a love letter to the Marines and a middle finger to everything else. And I want to read you a few, somebody posted this on Memorial Day, and it really kind of, this is why I broke this book out, or bought this book. The poem is called Black Bracelets. You hit the fleet as a stupid boot, and you want to be salty like the seniors. You want long hair and tattoos and caffeine dependence and nicotine addiction and black bracelets. Because they all have that until you get all that. And that alone made me buy the book. I cannot wait to read this poetry. I'm about to sneeze because I'm allergic to this town. Hopefully I won't. I have not even read this, and yet I recommend it. Rock Eater, poetry. I wasn't expecting that. Ooh, this is kind of a thick one. It's got probably 2 books in here. So let's pull out book 1. More Women in War. This is Love My Rifle More Than You, Young and Female in the U.S. Army by Kayla Williams. I saw a lot of disparate reviews on this. We'll see what I think about it. Kayla was formerly a sergeant in MI, Military Intelligence Company, of the 101st Airborne Division, Air Assault. The back says, irreverent, vulnerable, angry, and humane, Kayla Williams describes what it's like for a young woman to be surrounded by an ocean of testosterone, respected for her skills and qualifications, but treated variously as a soldier, a sister, a mother, a bitch, and a slut. Through it all, the violence, boredom, and fear, as well as light-hearted moments of humor, camaraderie, and flirtation, Williams brings home with intensity and empathy what it is like for a woman soldier to serve her country today. This is one woman's experience. Every woman has a different experience, although, as I noted in my Memorial Day post, there were similarities between 2 of the women who served their country and lost their lives for their country and their experiences. So I expect to find more than that, and I will let you know what I think about it. Again, this may go into my Women in War series, not 100%. Next up, this is kind of heavy. Another Women in War. It is called War Version. Make Love at War. My Journey of Repression, Temptation, and Liberation, a memoir by Laura Wesley. On March 21st, 2003, Army Lieutenant and West Point grad Laura Wesley, it got invaded, scratched out, liberated Iraq. The Army prohibited using the word invasion with the full intention of keeping her virginity securely intact. For 20... blah, 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 blah. Being at war, however, made her realize that adhering to the strict religious principles perhaps wasn't worth it, not when bombs, RPGs, and gunfire constantly threatened to cut your life short. Large font. I will probably read that this year. Again, one woman's experience. We'll see how it matches up to some of the others. I've got 2 more boxes left. One is like this. I hate this packaging because it is a bitch to get that open. This is one I had forgotten about. It is Liliana's Invincible Summer, A Sister's Search for Justice by Cristina Rivera Garza. It's a National Book Award finalist. I read about this on one of the socials. October 18th, 2019, Cristina Rivera Garza travels from her home in Texas to Mexico City in search of an old, unresolved criminal file. My name is Cristina Rivera Garza, she writes in her request to the Attorney General, and I am writing to you as a relative of Liliana Rivera Garza, who was murdered on July 16, 1990. It's been 29 years. 29 years, 3 months, and 2 days since Liliana was murdered by an abusive ex-boyfriend. And Cristina knows that there is only a slim chance of recovering the file. So this is where Cristina tries to follow the history of Liliana's life from her early romance with a handsome but possessive and short-tempered man to that exhilarating final summer of 1990 when Liliana loved, thought, and traveled more widely and freely than she ever had before. I expect this one to be a hard read because it's ultimately about grief and looking for justice. So it will be a minute until I read this, but I could not help but pick it up. Okay, last one. I did not quite finish opening this. I think this only has 1 book in it. Another Women in War. This is Kimberly's Flight. Oh, I gotta log all these into my phone. I cannot forget that. The story of Captain Kimberly Hampton, America's first woman combat pilot killed in battle. And it is shrink-wrapped, and all it says is the story of a young American's journey toward her dream and her ultimate sacrifice. So this, again, will be probably part of my Women in War series or a Veterans Day. This would have been great for Memorial Day, but I did have a good stack of books, and I had not read this yet, so anywho. That is all for me. I've got to, almost forgot, I almost left them here, but I still have to get these into my app so I don't rebuy books I already have. I will be back with another book haul because I've had at least 3 others in the past week. I'm out of control, but one was a celebratory book haul, and then yesterday's was because I had a little extra money. I did 2 yesterday from 2 different stores. Anywho, that is all for me. I'll see you on the flip side. If you've read any of this books or if you've got any comments, please leave me a note down in the comments. Happy reading!